Me?
Why? Yeah.
I don't know. You're a little fuzzy on my end too.
That maybe
I
it's
think
internet or something.
It might be because there's so many people
I'm
in the channel right now.
practicing
I'm gonna
my
take myself
dance
off.
move, Brian.
I'm gonna take myself off live when we start going, so hopefully that'll improve the equality.
Look at Rishi trying to sass people away from the camera.
No, he's trying to get the focus right now.
I know. You know what stinks about? He's probably got the same problem as me.
What do you need?
The
Wait, what happened? Hello.
Oh, hey, Rishi.
How long do I have?
I think we're doing 20 minutes.
No,
And
but
then-
how long till we start?
Oh, we don't start for another 10. If you want to go do something else or mess around.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hey Nick, I'm gonna deactivate you for a sec. Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see.
Then I'll pop out here later. But I assume you guys are probably okay to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, we'll be good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So it's recording. If you can just remind people.
I'm back. Okay, how's this look?
Good, dude. Jeff was trying to talk to us, Rishi.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. What were you saying, Jeff? We respect you.
Well, thank you. I respect that you respect me. I'll let Adam's mom or Carson's whatever his name is. I don't even know. I'll let his mom know that you're a respected bunch.
Okay, good.
That's my main sign, you guys. Yeah, if you can remind people at the beginning that it is being recorded, just
Okay.
for legality purposes of recording, and then go from there. We'll be sitting on the sidelines, and looks like there's a moderator chat if you want, or the regular chat. I'll clear with you from there so you can use that for Q&A.
All right, I'm just gonna write a note down on Rishi's mail that's at my house.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, I got a quick question for you. I don't think we're able to adjust the volume for videos. Or do you know how we could do that? Because I was trying to do that all yesterday. Even Vivian couldn't figure it out. I was wondering if you knew how to do that.
Like adjust your.
So, for example, say we show a video from YouTube. Is there any way for us to adjust the volume, or do we have to tell our audience, "Hey, lower the volume because it's about to blast in your ears"?
Oh, I don't see any.
I tried taking a good look through as well, and I couldn't find anything that allowed a volume.
We're not gonna do it on this anyway. We only do it on the booth probably.
Oh,
If people had questions and stuff, so we'll be okay anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, it's probably just whatever like in the app.
It's so loud, dude. It like
Well,
blasts
like-
through when you play it.
Rishi and I were trying some stuff the other day, and we found that there's some YouTube videos that were fine, but the one that you were playing, oh my god, that was just so loud.
Dude, the Vivo video is legit. Anyway, that's cool. What do we talk about while we're waiting? So, Rishi, we're going to talk with Richard about sales coaching and stuff. I want to make sure you ask some questions.
Yeah.
So, do you? I think the chat goes to everybody. Do you feel good?
I feel good about what?
Do you feel good about chatting and stuff? Like you're going to be good?
There's a moderator chat too.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just moderating the chat, I'm good. If
No,
people
no,
ask
I know.
questions-
I guess we can be like, yo, this is interactive. You can ask some questions. Rishi's only going to pick questions of people that give him some money, though. You got to send him some Doge coins.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Is that still a thing? Are they still doing those?
I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so. I don't think so. Remember that, though? Dogecoin? You're bringing it back?
But why? Why are you bringing it back?
I'm going blue suit coat. You're already wearing a gray suit coat. You ruined it.
It's not gray. Are you colorblind? This isn't gray. Is anyone else think this is gray? Does this look gray?
I can't tell. You're too pixelated.
I'm pixelated too.
Well,
looks
I think it's
black.
because there's there's 5 people in the chat right now. I think once I kind of
Wow, look at that
off,
power. Look
know
at the
what's funny?
power shit.
Everyone
Look
looks
at how-
pixelated to me except for me, so I thought I wasn't pixelated. So it looks like I am pixelated.
It
Yeah,
actually looks, it kind of looks like everybody's pixelated.
Yeah, I think once
Yeah.
I drop off, and it's just like 4 people on there, it's gonna the quality's gonna improve.
Jeff's going to
Whoa.
drop off too, though.
All right. Well, I'm gonna at least unlive myself because I mean, like, I don't have a logo or anything, so I'll just.
Hey, that's better.
Oh, if you're not, wait, you're still live, Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff did that.
Oh, no. You're still live.
Oh, do I need to
No,
drop off now?
Jeff came off live. You're still live, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like having that many videos or people on it.
Is what
Slows it down,
pixelates it,
They can't handle how good looking our cameras are, Rishi.
yeah.
That's why I go with the cheap cameras.
That's right, dude. That's why they pay the big bucks.
Wait,
We probably.
so hold up. You want me moderating chat? Are you gonna want me to do anything else other than that?
Yeah,
20 minutes.
it's I know. Just interact, participate.
All right, I'm gonna talk to. I forgot where I was going with that. So, anyways,
Be curious. Ask the hard hitting questions. Richard,
from me, Ryan, because I feel like I'm not doing too much on this call.
is Ryan's head cut off, or is that just from my end?
It might be on your end. It looks fine on this end.
Okay, because I
wait,
can
why
only
is
see
it cut off?
I can only see from hair down.
Hey, you know what I do,
Okay.
Rishi? Can you full screen?
Yeah.
I'll kill my video and restart it. Maybe that'll help. Did that
Oh,
work?
that on my
Yeah,
end.
that was that. I gotta see your head now. Okay.
Okay. I recommend full screening this stuff. We start when? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
Supposed to be 130 to 150 from what I.
Oh, we got 15 minutes. We're good.
All right, Ryan, what do you need from me on my end? Because I feel like I'm not going to be able to do too much.
I don't know. I thought you were just hanging out in case something breaks.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll hang out at least. I don't know if there's much I could do if something breaks. Though. I don't know if I have that much control over the platform.
You actually have no control over that. So.
Yeah.
You know what, Nick? You want to get out of here? Is that what this is?
No, I don't mind hanging out. I just didn't know if there was something that you wanted me to do specifically. Literally right now, I'm just rendering stuff on my computer, so there's not much I can do anyway. So you're stuck with me.
You know what, Nick? I'm unliving you. You make me sick. Can we still hear you from the grave?
Nope.
Wow, that's powerful. That's some power right there.
Wait, hold on, Nick. What happened to your B2B logo? They never put it up.
I guess not. I thought that.
Go to
she
your.
did so,
Can you
but
go to your Bizzabo profile and you can change your headshot.
How do I even get to my profile? I thought I had to have a login to do that.
You have a login because you're here.
I don't have a login. I have a link that I click to get here.
Oh my god! Excuses. What am I supposed to do? Are we doing gallery view, or do you want to do it where like it only shows one person at once?
So my question is, if people, so we're not posting this, right? This is getting posted by someone else.
Yeah, it's being hosted and everything by the conference they're doing.
But are we posting this ourselves? Are we editing this and posting it?
No,
Okay, then it doesn't matter what we're doing then. I mean,
we gave Richard the pleasure of being in front of a bigger audience than our normal audience.
Yeah,
I hope you
was-
enjoy that, Richard.
if I was editing this, I'd say gallery view. But yeah, if I was editing this, I'd say gallery view. But it doesn't matter if we're not really editing it ourselves or doing anything.
Cool. I'm gonna move. I got a mic stand in the shot as well. I'm gonna move it.
Ryan, since you're the late night poster, who's the band?
It's me.
You get the Roots to show up?
Well, I think Ryan's also the band. He's got the guitar in the background.
Ryan's just the guitarist, and I'm the singer.
Oh my god, I'm muting Ryan.
That sucks.
You can have my kid come out and play piano if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, for real? Let's do that. He's not gonna know he's muted. Don't tell him. Don't tell him he's muted.
Hey, question. So we're doing this for what, 20 minutes? Then do I go to my virtual room or booth or whatever?
So we're doing this for 20 minutes, and then we have from what time zone are you in, Richard? You're West Coast, right?
Yeah.
From 11:30 to 12:30 your time, we have a booth, and we're just going to continue talking and let people ask questions for you. We'll probably
Great.
do some stuff with like showing people how Lead IQ works and stuff too. But
So
like,
how do I get to my booth?
so there's going to be a second link that that will be sent out to you to join the booth.
Got it. Okay, so I don't have it. I'm making sure it's like I just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
they
if I
actually
send it to me, I need
are
to-
supposed to. Yeah. Hey Jeff, can you hear us? Could you
Yeah,
make sure Richard gets invited to our booth?
Did you not get a second link yet?
I have no idea, dude.
Yeah, there'll be 2 emails, both from registration at bizaboo.com, and there'll be one link is for this, one link's for the booth.
It's Bizzabo.
Well, not all of us. Rishi, know how to read. Okay. Anyway,
If it
for education.
hasn't shown
Yeah,
up,
right.
I'll go have Vivian resend you one.
I'm sure it's here. I just don't see it. And the sad part is I'm an inbox zero guy, which means it probably came and I had deleted it because I didn't see that I really needed it. You know what I mean?
Richard, are you registered for the event?
Pretty sure, come on.
Yeah. Well, if you are, you could also just find the booth, I think, in the event app, like on the computer, and then join it that way too. And we'll just promote you to speak if you can't find the link. I'm sure they can resend you a link though, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll have Vivian do it right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
How are things going so far? Has it been, we feeling good? I guess he left, so now I can't hear his answer, but has it been good? Okay.
Your video not grainy. Yeah, no, I said like good participation for a virtual event for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. All right, that's exciting. All right.
Yeah. So Ryan, we're not posting this under like B2B. This will just be like its own live show, and that's the end.
It is a B2B Tonight episode. It's just presented by Tendown. They're doing it.
But are we posting it online? Are we going to post it?
No, you're not touching this at all. No,
okay,
you're not
right,
doing anything.
That's what I just wanted to confirm. So, okay, all right.
They own the rights for this. It's like the NFL when they're like, you watch the thing, they're like,
Who
you
owns
can't
the
use
rights?
this footage. Technically, this is Tendown's thing. So like we're just doing a panel and stuff.
Guest
You know what I mean?
hosts.
Yeah, we're guest hosting this thing. Normally when we do a B2B Tonight episode, it's an hour long and we're hosting it from Lead IQ, but we're doing it just for Tendown for tonight.
Cool. All right, so I guess. Oh, I was totally talking. Don't mind me.
10:21. Are we ready?
Hey Nick, by the way, you don't have your webcam hooked up? You can't use virtual cameras? It doesn't work? Just curious, because it's not Zoom. So Richard, I figured what we're going to talk about mainly is we're gonna kind of dig into like a lot of the stuff during one-on-ones, and I know you have a lot of cool stuff to write there or say there. The question track is it's basically we're going to ask you how to coach your reps during one-on-ones and how it's different from a pipeline review, what to look for to improve your team, what makes a great one-on-one meeting, and at that point, we'll probably run out of time and transfer to be like, if you want to, we're going to do something else. When we get to the booth, more of the questions are going to be more about sales leadership and like how to lead a team and stuff. I forgot to ask Scott Leese if he wanted to do it. Maybe I'll ping him right now and see if he wants to crash, but it might be too last minute.
It's all right.
Okay. You're fine. You're great. All right.
I am.
You have the Zen-like quality that I think we all desire to have someday. How's everything going for you though? With everything, have you been impacted at all by the pandemic and stuff with training?
Yeah, it's really interesting. April was the re-onboarding process for everybody, right? So you had to re-onboard people to work from home. You had to re-onboard your budget. You had to re-onboard your product market fit, right? And then starting late April, May, people started inquiring again. And right now, the early adopters, you still got to do training this year, right? So I literally have like 3 or 4 contracts that are like literally today, tomorrow kind of stuff. So it's actually going to turn into something very interesting because normally my training was out on Monday, train on Tuesday, fly home on Wednesday. Now I don't have to fly anywhere. I do these 2-hour sessions like 4 days in a row. So I could actually do, 3 clients Monday through Thursday, right? At, 8 to 10, 10:30 to 12:30, 1 to 3. And I do that 3 days in a row. And all of a sudden I can now capacity wise do 3x in a week than I used to be able to. And I never have to get on an airplane. So I'm interested to see how this continues to play out.
Yeah.
Because I actually think I could end up making more money.
Yeah, like you have more inventory slots because you're not traveling anymore. Yeah. Do you feel like it's harder to get people engaged online versus if you're doing it in person?
I used to. I've done 2-hour sessions before. I think the easiest part is that people are now used to it more than they used to be. And the fact that I did my my live training back in May and had 500 people sit for 3 hours while I went through my training tells me that they will do it if they're interested. Which I'm doing again next week. I'm doing my live training, and I think we've got about 400 registrants already for it. So they will sit from 8 to 11 Pacific time for 3 hours and listen to me talk. So, can't complain.
Yeah.
So I think has changed.
Are you going to be doing, so like for us, what we basically have done is I shifted away our webinar strategy so that like, there's two things we're doing. And actually I think like John Barros' team's been doing this too, actually talking with them and stuff. We're now shifting where if you're on our email list, we just email you the Zoom link and track who clicks it instead of having them re-register for stuff when we do live stuff. And we just notify people we're doing something live in 15 minutes. And that's kind of how we've been getting people to B2B tonight. And then and then we're net newing signups obviously too, because we'll promote whatever's happening. So like we push people to the conference this week for this talk. Like instead of pushing to Lead IQ, we push to them. But like normally what we would be doing is pushing you to a landing page, have you fill it out and stuff. But like what's kind of cool for us is it's allowing us to use it allows us to repurpose stuff too. So like we used to just do like a bit or something on LinkedIn and post as a video. Now we'll do the bit as part of the show. We're not doing it today because we only have 20 minutes, but like normally we'd make a video that's like comedic and fun, well, educational, involving sales. And then we do that bit and then transfer in, like we'd use that to promote people to the webinar and then just do the webinar. Now we're putting them together, which has been fun.
Yep. So I don't know if you're telling me or you're asking me a question.
Oh, I was just telling you what we were doing. Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, our strategies have definitely shifted, right? So I'm figuring out some stuff around that too. So it's just sort of interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I think the capacity thing is interesting. Doing the trainings remotely probably. It also I think like the hardest part is probably getting everybody to interact compared to being in a room, right?
No, it's not. You'd be surprised.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
But I also think that's how my training is, right? It's no less interactive than it was when I was in front of people live.
Yeah.
So I think something to do with the presenter.
Are you doing it where like they're all just in like a normal Zoom, or is it like a webinar-y type thing?
No, it's a Zoom meeting. I don't do webinars because I want them to interact.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How do you create it so that people do interact or feel comfortable to interact on a Zoom or something like that?
So for me, I specifically explain a theory and then I go, great, who does this? Someone volunteer. Come on, somebody jump in, right?
Yeah.
And somebody usually does. If not, I'll just sit and wait till somebody does. I make them very uncomfortable. Like I'm not going on until somebody talks, like literally.
Hey guys, just so you know, people are coming in now. In 3 minutes, we'll start. But just give me a heads up.
You're ready.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I do that. I also have exercises. Hey, let's do this. By the way, I'm going to pause. Who here's tried this? Who wants to who wants to role play this with me? And because it's a training session, they're much more eager to role play, particularly the younger generation, particularly the millennials and the Gen Z, because that's just the world they live in. It's native, right? It's native to them to get on the phone, play a game, and talk with their friends. As a Gen Xer, that feels cumbersome.
I used to love when I was a BDR. We did a lot of spin. Like that was what we learned back then. It was like, mid 2000s and stuff. And I used to really like role playing. A lot of people are like nervous to do stuff. And I always liked being called on for it. Like, I don't know why. I was
that kid in class too. Right?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if like I'm the overachieving jerk, but like I'd get called on for something like, all right, I'm going to come in and attack this. And
I wasn't overachieving from a grade perspective, but I certainly like to volunteer.
Yeah, I think I just like the talk.
That's what I mean. I like the attention.
Yeah, well, you see, the cool part is you do a role play and people see it and they're like, "Oh man, shit, I want to get in on that and do that too." And like, it's a really fun thing to do. Who did I talk to recently about role playing? I talked to someone on my podcast about role playing, and they were talking about how like people are too friendly, like not friendly, but they make it too easy when they're doing role plays because you're in front of people. And like, I actually think it's more fun if you can figure out a way to get through a challenge and stuff. When I'm the role, when I'm the prospect in the role play, I like getting the character. Like I'm like, crap, my wife doesn't like me. I have problems with my dad. Like,
so my rule is you can't. Once we start the role play, you can't break it. You can't break the wall, and so that forces people to own it a little better.
Well, it looks like we're getting people in. For people that are joining, what's up? What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan O'Hara. Over here on the left is Rishi Mather. I don't know if he's on the left for everybody. He's on my left. What's up, Rishi?
What's up? You're on my right, so yeah, I'm on your left.
Okay. And below us is a man who has, in his bio, it should say that he's run into buildings and saved kittens when the building was on fire. It'd be really weird if the building wasn't on fire. He runs an amazing training place, a training company that helps people in sales development, leadership. I have been a long follower of his for a long time. At LeadIQ, we've been doing these things since the pandemic started called B2B Tonight. And it's basically normally a late night talk show format where Rishi and I will do a comedy bit. We interview someone and ask them stuff. Because we only have 20 minutes today, we're going to jump right into the interview with Richard. But the big theme for today...
It won't be funny at all.
No, absolutely not. In fact, the big bit for today, the shortest bit we've ever done is having Rishi in this meeting in the first place. Look at his hair. What are you doing, Rishi? What
it's
happened?
the same hair as you have, just different color. All right.
Yeah, but listen, I have the hair of a teen.
Shut up about hair.
I have the hair of a teen idol. What do you have? Hey, Richard, you look great with a hat. Okay, don't
You look
be down on yourself.
fantastic. You look like a director. You look like somebody in power and charge. He looks like a Muppet.
So anyway, what we want to do today, let's get to the business, I guess, as the kids call it. We're going to talk today during this talk about one-on-one coaching sessions, because a lot of you that are out there are managers or people that want to be managers someday and figure out how you should be coaching your reps one-on-one. Richard's really passionate about this topic, and I think it's really great. Here's the other cool part. Later on today at the LeadIQ booth, we're just going to continue doing an interview, and it's going to be questions. You can come in and ask questions about managing stuff. You can participate in chat. You can ask questions here, but it's going to be a little bit limited and focused on one-on-ones. Later on, we're going to talk about all things under the sun with sales leadership if you want to ask some questions and stuff. If you want to see what our product does and stuff too, you can hang out there and we'll show you some stuff too. But let's jump into it, Richard. Let's start with the foundation here. Let's talk about what is the best way to deal with a one-on-one. How do you approach it in the first place? You're doing a weekly one-on-one with people that report to you.
So one is you have to commit to them 100%. If you're doing Mondays as one-on-ones or Tuesdays or certain people each day, you cannot change those. They are set in stone, because if you don't, you're basically telling your rep that their time is not valuable. And this is the one place in sales, as a leader, your rep's time is always more valuable than your time. Always. So what I encourage people to do, if I'm a sales manager or an SDR leader or even a VP of sales, I tell my executive team, hey, these are my one-on-one times. I will not move them. The building can be on fire and I will not move them, particularly in a remote world. Because CEOs love to say, hey, I just need you for 5 minutes and we got to do this for the board. And it's like, board's got to wait, right? CEOs got to wait. And as a sales leader, the beautiful thing about being a sales leader is that you can easily say, look, the best thing I can do for all of us to make more money is spend time with my team. And those are my one-on-ones, and I will not move them, period. So that's the first thing I would encourage people to think about and like own that shit in a militant way.
So people blow off one-on-ones all the time. They do stuff that's short. Don't do that. Rishi, by the way, I'm sorry. I canceled our one-on-one today to do this, by the way. I'm really sorry.
3 times.
Listen, that doesn't matter, okay? No, but seriously, like, I think I'm guilty of this too, or like, I'll just be creative with stuff and throw it out and do it. In a remote time right now too, we're all isolated and you're not getting that normal drive-by conversation with your manager. So one-on-ones are even more important today.
Yes. Yes.
When we did a prep call for this, I literally changed and stapled. I haven't moved a one-on-one since you said that, because I was like, oh man, I really need to do that. So what's the difference between a one-on-one and doing like a pipeline review? Because I think a lot of people that are here that are managing sales reps and stuff are thinking about who you're going after, your target accounts, all that stuff. What do you do? What's the difference?
Well, there's a couple of ways that I would tell you to structure your one-on-one. So the first, before we get into that, so one is sometimes you have one-on-ones that are weekly. Sometimes you have them that are bi-weekly. Some reps, your new reps, might get them weekly. They might even get 2 a week. Oftentimes in the office environment, one of those was a drive-by, as you alluded to. Right? Your veteran reps may not need or want one every week. I think you make it available and you say, look, it's up to you as my veteran rep. If someone comes along and says they need to have a sales call, blow off my one-on-one unless you want me there. Like, I'm happy to join you on a sales call, right? So one, make sure you understand that weekly, bi-weekly, those kinds of things, at least twice a month. Once a month is not good enough. Sorry, field reps, doesn't work. Pipeline, you do not talk about deals on a one-on-one. You don't. You do not talk about deals. You can talk about challenges as a whole of like, hey, of your 3 best deals, what's the consistent challenge you're having? Is it around negotiation? Is it around asking for next steps? Stay out of the weeds, but then it becomes, that's the coaching moment. So try to find a theme for it. There are structures of 10 minutes for the rep, 10 minutes for you, 10 minutes about the week ahead. Sometimes it's 15 minutes. I don't think one-on-ones need to be an hour. I try to make them 30 minutes because you need to go fast and quick. Otherwise, you're both just sitting there listening to yourself talk about how wonderful you think you are, right? Which, of course, we are, but we need to control ourselves. So defining what that looks like, right? Look, if you've got weekly one-on-one, look, 1 week it could be about, coaching and stuff. Another week could be about career pathing. Maybe it's a book they're reading, you're trying to coach them on that. Maybe a third week of one-on-ones, you can talk about a couple of pipeline things, like maybe it's the end of the month or something like that. You can do those things, but I don't want you getting into the weeds of deals in a one-on-one. So for me, it's about professional development. It's about answering their questions. It's about getting their ideas. What do you think we need as an organization? This is their time, right? And as a manager and a leader, your job is to really just kind of go, that's interesting. I'm going to make a note of that. I don't know if we're going to do it, but that was interesting. Or I might say, hey, Ryan, why do you think we need that? Right? That's what a one-on-one is for me. It's much more personable. One-on-ones can also be about what's going on in your life. Like, how are you? What can I do to help you? Right? What are your aspirations? In the next 6 months, what do you want to accomplish in your life? And what can work do to help you affect that? You want to take a vacation, you're planning for Christmas, you're planning what can I do to help you make your Christmas or holiday season? I'm Jewish, so Hanukkah, or whatever your religion is. What can I do at your job to make sure you have that amazing moment with your family? That is a one-on-one, in my opinion.
Do you ever talk about your relationship with your employee as a manager? Like, you're like, hey, do I suck? What can I do to be better? Like, is that part of that too?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to, I encourage people to research that because it's a very personal thing. And you're talking about combining discomfort, uncomfortable conversations, and some level of change management within yourself as a human. So I think you have to kind of do a little bit of Googling about self-improvement with your team. You've got to sort of figure out what team culture means and what makes a good team culture leader, so that then when you ask your team that question, you can formulate it in a better way. One, so they feel comfortable saying it, but two, so that you feel comfortable being able to disassociate enough that you can hear it, right? That's the hard part. But yes, I do think people should do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I know from my personal experience, when I was a BDR back in the day, they didn't really have the SDR term, I don't think, back then. I remember I used to go into one-on-one meetings, and a lot of the time I would go into the weeds of this is an account I'm trying to break into as a prospector. And you're saying that's actually not necessarily the right thing to do?
Correct.
I think a lot of people also don't do enough with you go into these meetings, and the other thing that could be fun that will really inspire action, especially in the prospecting front, since a lot of people at this conference are here for prospecting, is you can go to these meetings to brainstorm some creative ideas to break into accounts too. It doesn't have to be a specific account. It could just be fundamental principles and stuff. Maybe it's, hey, let's do some fun stuff. What are some cool ideas we could do for video this week? Let's run through some stuff. One thing I think managers don't do enough of is I try to tell managers to do a talent audit, because no one ever grows up and says, boy, I can't wait to work in sales. That doesn't happen. People usually accidentally fall into a sales job, especially in the sales development world. You're just getting your foot in the door. If that's the
Yeah,
case.
I think there's, look, and I love this idea, right? You can run themes. And so you could say, hey, everybody, for this week's one-on-one, I want you to bring me your craziest idea. I don't care if it's an email,
I love
or
that.
a video, right? And say, hey, we're going to go through them in one-on-ones, and then we might take some and do them in a team session, right? So I think there's lots of ways to do that. There's a couple of questions coming in I want to answer for folks.
Right. So, Freddie,
people are,
you want me to ask it, or you guys just want to read it like that?
I'll read it out. I'll take care of it. I do this all the time. So
All right.
sit back, relax, enjoy yourself over there. Okay.
Rich, get out of this meeting. You're out.
How do you approach one-on-ones? How would you approach one-on-ones, a newly onboarded SDR during ramp, looking at things like motivation, correcting poor habits early? So the first thing I would say is, hopefully as a leader, and if you're a new leader, this is something I hope you'll learn, is that you actually try to interview for those things ahead of time. Hey, what poor habits do you think you might have that I could help you with, right? You could ask someone, how do you like to be coached, right? Some people think coaching is micromanaging. My generation did. Don't sit there and tell me how to have a better phone call. F you, I'm a Gen Xer, right? I had to walk home at the age of 11, fix myself a snack, and wait for my mom to get home at 5. And you're going to sit here and tell me how to fucking cold call? How dare you? That was my attitude. Get off my lawn, right? So I think so one is looking at it in the hiring process is the first place. The second thing is to just point it out, right? And this is, and I do this with my son a lot, who, if he gets upset with something, I have to say to him, hey, you're allowed to be upset. You can cry, you can be upset. You're allowed to feel angry. You can feel whatever you want. The behavior is what I want to talk about, though. And I want to help you so that you understand a better behavior. Now, I wouldn't sort of say it that way to an SDR, right? That's a little patronizing, but this is the same approach, is that, hey, I've noticed some things and I want to give you some ideas and I want to brainstorm with you. I've noticed these as things that are of concern. Do you think that they're a concern? And whether you do or you don't, what do you think you would want to change if we wanted to change it? So to a certain extent, management is about asking open-ended questions. What do you think we should do? How should we do it? How much advice do you want? Right?
It almost makes them almost have buy-in to whatever advice you're giving, because they're the one that came up with the idea, even though cough, cough, we all know that you had the idea somewhere.
Yeah, totally, right? And it's a different approach than the dictatorial way, right? So when you say, hey, how do you like to be managed, Ryan? I'm your manager. I could say, Ryan, do you want me to just walk in and tell you what to do and be gone? Or do you want to sit down and try and figure it out together? Because I'll try to work within the way you like to learn. And just by saying that, it doesn't mean you're not going to sometimes dictate. It doesn't mean sometimes you're not going to do the other. But at least you're showing this approach of I want to do what works for you, right? Which buys trust, it buys loyalty, it buys the ability for each other to work together, it builds a stronger culture. By asking the open-ended questions, yes, you're getting them to solve their own problems, but you're coaching in accountability. That's how you coach in, hey, don't come to me with solution with just a problem, come with solutions, which is a terrible thing to say.
Yeah.
Right? But build it often and early in those roles. And so motivation, I think you have to ask, how do you like to be motivated? Right? Do you want a swift kick in the pants like a football coach? Do you need me to sort of say, hey, but I think there's something missing here? Do you want help, or can you figure it out on your own? You have to ask people how they want to be motivated. So, let's see.
Richard, can I ask a follow-up for that on the new hires? When you have a new hire at a company that you might be training and working with, what are you looking for when you're a coach? What are you listening for? What are you looking for to see this person might need help? How do you find the problems, I guess, that you can go to the one-on-one with?
Well, I think that's also part of your one-on-one. Someone had even said, do you have a preset agenda? Mm-hmm. So yes and no, right? So your preset agenda is, hey, 10 minutes for me, 10 minutes for you, and 10 minutes about whatever we want to do. One thing I want to know every time I have our conversation, though, is what is the one thing you improved on this week, and what's the one thing you want to improve on next week?
Ooh, that's good.
Right? And that way there's some accountability, because in some cases you do know what they need to improve on, and so you want to see what their self-awareness is like. And I know I'm sort of giving you these different sort of Jedi mind trick kind of things, right? I don't want anybody to walk out of here thinking, oh, I can manipulate my team by asking these questions. Your job is not to manipulate them. Your job is to educate them. Your job is to help them. And you can even say in your team meeting, hey guys, we're going to start one-on-ones. Next week, I'm going to try a little bit different structure. I'm going to start asking more open-ended questions because I want to see where we are with self-awareness. I want to see where we are with self-accountability. I want to see where we are in terms of creating a culture of learning from each other. So now you're telling them that this shift is going to occur. So then it doesn't feel manipulative, right? So those are the ways I would encourage you to think about doing things.
So I do want to tell everyone, by the way, orally, in case you're not reading the chat, we are going to have this on demand as a recording afterward. It'll be part of the conference package. When you come back and log in, you can see it. But there'll be information about watching the recordings afterward. Richard.
We have 5 minutes left, FYI.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Rishi.
You're welcome.
One thing I wanted to ask you, Richard. So we're talking about one-on-ones. We're talking about going through. I think the thing that you're making that's a really good point is that, I say this in prospecting all the time. What works for one rep might not work for another rep with selling. The same thing works with managing, right? You have to tailor your managing and your coaching based on whoever that rep is. What are from your experience, what are some different styles that work? So you mentioned obviously micromanaging is one of them. If you're not micromanaging, are you ever going into a one-on-one and literally just prospecting with the rep and working with doing stuff with them like that that's really hands-on and just doing practice runs together, or is that a different type of meeting?
No, I think that's great. So again, it could be, hey, this week and you can even do this thematically. Hey, everybody, when you come into the one-on-ones this week, for my 10 minutes, we're going to role play open-ended questions. So in that case, you could say, hey, bring me, 1 or 2 clients you're going into. Let's assume you get to that conversation. What questions do you want to ask them? Let's role play it, right? So and to some that might feel micromanaging, to others that might feel coaching, right? I don't know. So you can definitely do those kinds of things and sort of build this theme of what we're doing. Maybe it's cold call scripting this week, right? Yeah, I know you're an expert cold caller. I want to hear you do it again, right? If someone's the expert cold caller, you know what you do? You become the grumpy Gus who answers the phone. Yeah, what do you want? Yeah, no, I don't want it. You assume the role, assume it in the worst possible way to push that person to get better, right? And here's my rule about role plays, whether it's in a team setting or in a one-on-one, you don't break the role play, period. If Ryan and I are role playing, Ryan can't stop and go, wait, let me start over. Nope, there's no starting over. Just keep going. Just go through it because you don't get to start over in real life. And and if we're going to have those mistakes, I'd rather have them in the role play so then we can do another role play when it's over. But I want Ryan in that moment to be uncomfortable and want to start over, because at some point that same level of discomfort will occur in real life. And it may not be the same part of the role play, but I want him to realize, oh shit, I can't stop. I got to keep going forward. How do I encourage Ryan to think through the problem and work the solution, right? Work the problem. So anyway.
I think, by the way, last call for questions if people want to ask anything for you, because we got a couple minutes left. I think another thing you could do also is if you're on one of those teams that uses some sort of call recording software or something where you're listening to the cold calls, maybe you're using one of the sales engagement platforms or something, I highly recommend, if you're a manager, listen to some of those calls and write down things and set them up for mock calls. And you should just be reading verbatim the things that actually get said on calls. Because oh, go ahead, sorry.
I think that's a great idea, but and this is a debatable thing because it just kind of goes, well, is it your time or their time? Do I tell Ryan, hey, you go listen to that call and tell me what you think you could do better? I'm going to listen to it too, and let's compare notes.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
Right? That's a fun one-on-one, I think, because it drives self-awareness. You're not trying to embarrass anybody. You're not doing it in front of a team, although sometimes, and not from an embarrassment perspective, but in a team environment, it is encouraging to do that because then the team can give coaching versus the manager, right? If you've got that kind of great culture. So that's my thought around that. I love that idea though, Ryan.
Yeah, it's just, I think a lot of the time you hear people do these role play stuff during one-on-ones and they're it's too easy. You know what I mean? Or it's either too easy or a prospect would never say that. It's because you work at this company that you're saying it. You want to act like, for example, when you're the rep or you're the manager and you're going and doing a role play, you already know the space really well. The
Hey, Ryan, stop. Cold call me right now. Hello.
Hey, is this Richard?
This is.
Hey, Richard. What am I selling? I got to think.
Can't break the role play. Start over.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Richard. How's it going?
Good. How are you? Who's calling?
This is Ryan from Lead IQ. I actually was looking at your LinkedIn. I saw you were doing some sales training stuff, and I was curious, how are you guys getting people to go to those meetings?
Hey, Ryan, stop right there for a second. Do me a favor. Stand up. Seriously, stand up.
Yeah.
You ready? All right. Do it. No, stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Okay. People are going to see me. It's weird.
Right. But that's okay. But guess what? They don't see you on cold calls anyway. Do it again. Start over. Hello?
Hey, is this Richard?
This is.
Hey, Richard. This is Ryan O'Hara calling from Lead IQ. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I wanted to ask you something really quick. I only have a couple. I only want to take up a little bit of your time. I was curious if you're trying to get more.
Right
yeah.
So stop right there. So now you can sit down. So Simon says sit down. So this is what I mean by role play, right? By the third time, Ryan was standing up. He's a little bit more in his natural spot. His tone changed. His pace changed. I know Ryan well enough to know that Ryan was much calmer by the third one.
Yeah. I was waiting for the third one. Yeah. I just was off guard the first one.
Well, that's the point. That's why I did it. That's how I want, if we're talking about role playing, that's how you role play. Nope, Ryan, can't break role play. And even though I said you can't break it, I made him start over. And I repeated it because part of it is, how do I get Ryan to hyper-focus on what he's doing, hyper-focus on how he's doing it, how he's sounding, without him even realizing it. So if I'm doing that in a team environment or a one-on-one environment, that's, to me, is how I would role play something. So. All
right, so we are out of time, unfortunately. Yeah. If people want to hear us do more of this, maybe we could actually have people come to the booth and role play this.
I will gladly role play with anybody in the booth.
Come to our booth. If you're a manager, come here. You can be part of the action and be part of the prospect. Come to the Lead IQ booth. We'll show you some stuff too that we're doing to help people in sales development, but we'll also kick around this stuff.
I'll even be bold enough to be the rep.
I will too. I'm fine with it too. It'll be fun. We should have Rishi do it too. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Look forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, we'll see you in a little while. I don't know how to end the session now. I'm only going to hit the leave button and hope it works. Bye, everyone. See you soon.